I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Thursday, August the 4th, brought to you in part by Pike Feeds. Pike Feeds strives to work around the needs of each individual operation. It's a do-all meal. They do premixes, balancers, minerals, grain mixes, and supplements of all kinds, serving all of Missouri and Illinois. Check out Pike Feeds for your feed needs. North goes up and the south goes down. The disparage between the price for finished fed cattle in the northern plains and the southern plains we thought was closing a little bit because we just have never seen such a big disparage there. But now it grew a little bit wider here middle of the week as the northern plains, Iowa and Nebraska, they've got the leverage. They trade enough cattle to have leverage. They've got better cattle. And the main thing is that they have those regional packers. Gots to have the regional packers, guys. They're the ones that push for numbers when they need them, and they push for quality because that's really what they're all about, is featuring the best quality beef that they can find. But tell you what, they had to give, they gave a little bit more money, or actually they gave about what they did last week, and it pulled the majors up a little bit, which is fantastic. And we saw some pretty brisk trading in the northern plains on Wednesday. Now in the southern plains, didn't hardly see anything. Of course, we never do. And they sold cattle, a lot of them, $1 cheaper than they did last week. But talk about your feeder trade. I haven't been ignoring the fact that the Video Royale on Superior is going on, the 30th one in Winnemucca, Nevada. That's going on, but it's just hard to pull individual quotes out of there until they get the catalog completely gone through, and we'll look through that whenever they get finished with that video. But I did notice on the USDA report there that fall delivery calves, ballers, unweaned fall delivery steer calves weighing in the light sixes, up in the northern plains, your better quality calves, and no bells and whistles on them, just balling but fancy calves in the low sixes for October delivery are averaging well over $2 a pound, guys. So you might be ready to adjust your sights for that. We know that the later the delivery on the cattle, the more they bring. Everybody's looking down the road at your live cattle board that says we're supposed to get $1.50 something for fats. Show me. I want to see how you do that when you've got no competition and no trade, no price discovery. Still pushing for this Cattle Price Discovery and Transparency Act. We've got to get that done before the end of September, guys. So, we've got a small window here. I haven't heard a lot of push on it. There's just so damn much going on there with the inflation that's going on and all the jockeying around here right before we go into the midterm elections. It's just going to be tough to get that brought up and voted on, but we hope we get it done. Talked to my friend Mark Harmon there at Joplin Regional Stockyards. They had that special cow and bull sale on Wednesday afternoon that I'd been talking about and getting you guys set for, and your prime consignment there was the Betty Hamill Complete Dispersal. Just decided weren't getting any younger, and it was a good time to get out, so they did. But you always hate to see dispersals because there's some sadness with that too. But I want to give you some prices here that brought a smile to their face. On the fancier blacks, they had 46 bred heifers there, all black, brings $1,700 a head. Wow, and it is super dry in that area, guys, right there. But I said they had a full crowd. Their parking lot was full, and I tell you what, you could turn around a freight train in their parking lot. But the 4-year-old young bred cows there bring $1,635, and the middle-aged 5-year-old bred cows bring $14.50. I want to give a little tribute here to a guy that I did not know. But I know he was well thought of, and I have a lot of Feeder Flash Gang members in that area. But I want to send out prayers and thoughts for the family and friends of Jerry Cannon. And he was a Feeder Flash Gang member. He wasn't, from what they tell me, he wasn't on social media, wasn't on the internet and all that thing, but he liked to watch the feeder flash, and those are my kind of guys like that. I tell you what, I know he raised Angus cattle there, and he was proud of them, did a really good job, but really the kind of guy, this salt of the earth kind of a guy, and I know a lot of people are mourning the passing of him. He was from Flemingsburg, Kentucky, and that's cattle country right in there, guys. But I want to think about him on this issue of the feeder flash. But let's talk about your board for Wednesday. August live cattle futures up $1.32 at 137.90. Okay, so now that's getting about a $3 loss on their hedges for your Southern Plains guys, especially the guys in Texas. Now, if it continues to run above that, we'll see some more deliveries there, and they're probably going to jack around more with your Tulia delivery there. They're pushing for them to do that, to discount them, kind of like they did the Worthing deliveries, because any place that they get any action, then they want to give them a discount because they really don't want delivery. Well, you know, we've got to get some longs in there somewhere, guys, and it's pitiful that our fat cattle market in the Southern Plains is trading below the dragging live cattle futures contract. But there's going to be some activity going on with that if we continue to sell fats in the South so much cheaper than what the board is there. But of course the guys in the North, they're thinking it ought to be $4 or $5 higher to get up there close to where they're trading their fat cattle. So it's just, things are broken right now in that live cattle contract. Things are broken now in the Southern Plains and their inability to trade cash and get a price transparency in their cash market down there. I'm telling you people that when we lost our independent hog producers, when we lost our hog feeders, what brought that on? The inability to get a publicly traded hog market and a publicly reported price from that. When we lost the Omaha hog market, because they weren't getting enough hogs in Omaha to make a fair cash price. We lost a little bit of it there when we lost our country buying points on a hog market there. When we lost that, pretty much all you had was plant delivered dressed hog price. And that's what we're going to get to on the cattle. Well, it didn't take very long till the hog people lost their price transparency. Nobody knew what a hog was worth. And then they took the price to 8 cents a pound, took all of them out because they had enough people under contract, they had enough people under formula that they didn't need to do it anymore. They had all these people basically on contract feeding hogs for them, and that's what's going to happen in our cattle industry if we don't get something done about this. They're just going to be corporate feeders that are in bed with the packers, other guys that are lined up with the packers, and there's going to be no independent cattle feeding as we know it if we can't continue to keep a price. And I'm telling you guys in the Southern Plains, you want to ride on the coattails of the North, and the guys in the North don't think that's fair, and it's not fair. You know, you guys got cattle down there, ask more for them, the few guys that are still trading. But, you know, I talked to a guy in Dodge City earlier this week that one of the few cash traders in Kansas. And he's telling me how frustrating it is to sell those cash cattle. But he's doing an assistance to all those guys that are just sitting back waiting to turn their formula cattle in every week. But tell you what, it's just not a good omen here, what we're seeing with the elimination of our publicly reported and price transparent market there. We got to keep that, guys. But the October live cattle futures up $1.82 at 143.95. Back months on live cattle up 67 to up $1.67. So all up there in your back months especially. Let's talk about your August feeder cattle contract up $1.22 at 179.35, gaining back a lot of what it lost on Tuesday. September up $1.45 at 182.90. Your back months on feeder cattle up $1.50 to up 2.15. So everything was gangbusters in your cattle pits, but corn was up a little bit, but not bad, up 2 cents for a new crop December at 5.96 1/4. Beans for November, new crop down 16 3/4 at 13.69 3/4 a bushel. Fat cattle trade, Iowa sold a pretty fair amount there, enough to establish a market. 2,600 head confirmed on Wednesday, 141 to 144. That's about steady to a couple bucks higher than last week in the Northern Plains live price. Dressed market 2 to 3 bucks higher, from 225 to 232, and it was all responsible from the regional packers coming in there and creaming the best cattle earlier in the week at a decent price there, and then your finally, whenever your majors come in and start bidding and they wanted to get some cattle, your guys that have those cattle, they made them give a little bit more money, and God bless them for doing it. That's the way that you establish a price for something, is you have to negotiate. Nebraska, 8,300 head confirmed on Wednesday, from 140 to 142. That was mostly majors there, guys. Dress market 225 to 232. Kansas, only 600 head, 135 to 136. Texas, 500 head, only at 135. As would be steady to a buck lower. Box beef cutout values were a pinch lower on Wednesday afternoon. Choice cuts 267.94, down 52 cents. Selects down a quarter at 241.30. Talk about your slaughter. Running at a pretty good clip here, just a bit back of last week. 372,000 through Wednesday, 2,000 less than last week at this point, 10,000 more than the same week a year ago at this point. What else is going on? How about livestock risk services? If you guys want to get your LRPs, you got to talk to people that are in the LRP business. They can answer your questions. Doesn't cost anything. Call in there and just inquire about the LRPs, which is to offset the risk on your cattle. They're really working good for guys that are backgrounding. And if you guys want to lock in a good price for your calves that you're going to sell this fall that you still got on the cow, but you're looking at that big price out there on calves and you want to lock that in, get a hold of them. Just call Livestock Risk Services, find out what your strike prices can be, find out what your premium's going to be, find out how much of that premium the government's going to kick in and pay for. Talk about your feeder cattle market. Your real-time index on DV auction late in the day on Wednesday set at 173.20. That was basically steady, or 2 cents better than Tuesday's close. The thing of it is, it's a 7-day moving average, and we lost a week ago Wednesday, which included Bassett, Nebraska, and all those crazy prices there. So even though our market's better, we didn't see any gain really, as that's a 7-day moving average. But talk about your big sales on Wednesday. OKC West, El Reno, Oklahoma, 7,000 head for them, and gangbuster sale. Feeder steers 5 to 8 bucks higher. Feeder heifers $3 to $6 higher. Good market reporting there. Calves kind of steady to weak. Not a lot of demand for the ballers in this heat, and not enough hard weaned calves, light calves, to really test the market on them. But look at this automated market report from Cattle Market Central through DV Auction. You can see where your best tested weights were on your steers. 964 head of 7-weight steers, averaged 752 with a weighted average price on all of them of 172.31. 919 head of 8-weight steers, averaged 841 with a weighted average price of 168.60. How about 608 head of your 9-weight steers in El Reno, averaged 933 with a weighted average price on all the 9-weight steers that went through the ring at 164.25. How about on heifers? 581 head of 6-weight heifers, averaged 661 with a weighted average price of 167.50. Very good sale in El Reno, Oklahoma. But for the second time, basically this week, because I include the weekend and this week so far, but within the last 5 days, the second time, your Zoetta stick-out sale of the day is Winter Livestock in Dodge City, Kansas. Had the big King of the Ring sale, which I was at on Saturday. It was impressive. And then they had what they call their anniversary sale in Dodge on Wednesday, the regular sale day. 6,000 head on offer, and the market was $2 to $5 better than the King of the Ring sale. The market's just been coming up every day, and it's just that much better. And even though they were featuring those great auctioneers and had the big crowd and everything, your market on Wednesday, which is kind of a yearling special also for the anniversary sale, but still $2 to $5 higher than just Saturday. I mean, a foot higher than the market that they had a week ago on Wednesday, but they had a lighter run there. But you look at the automated market report for Dodge City, 373 head of 7-weight steers averaged 767 with a weighted average price of 180.36 on all your 7-weight steers. 577 head of 8-weight steers in Dodge averaged 846 with a weighted average price of 177.16. Had a lot of heifers. 1,686 head of 6-weight heifers averaged 642 with a weighted average price of 179.66. 812 head of 7-weight heifers averaged 731 with a weighted average price of 170.40, just right at a dime back of what the steers brought in that same weight category. Some individual quotes around the circuit. Green City Livestock Marketing in Green City, Missouri, north central part of the state, had 62 head of steers weighed 894 with a weighted average, or with a price on that individual quote, of 177.50. Springfield Livestock Marketing Center, Tonto Cassie, one of the partners there, he sold his home raised calves there, and he's got some of the best genetics in that part of the country, southwest Missouri. But 81 head 670 pound steers in Springfield bring 189.50. How about Hardin County Stockyards? 2 loads of steers in Savannah, Tennessee, guys. 2 loads of steers in Hardin County Stockyards weighed 770, bring 176.60. Put wheels under those guys. How about Bluegrass Stockyards in Albany, Kentucky? One of your smaller bluegrass yards, but they get the big prices. Also 61 head 837 pound steers through the ring in Albany, Kentucky at 177.10. But the best quote that I saw anywhere on Wednesday in your microsyn, no bull top quote for the day, come out of Stockman's Livestock in Yankton, South Dakota. 90 head 677 pound steers at 199.25. That's your feeder flash for Thursday.